welcome to another Cheeky Girl Creations video. So today I shall be making another video with the December box theme Muted Tones. And I have, the previous videos was the unboxing video, which I shall link in the iCard in the top right hand corner, where I made these papers. And I did that with the mixed media plate in preparation for the second video, where I created something on the canvas board that is in the kit. So here's a quick close-up, and you can see that video in an iCard in the top right hand corner as well. So of course I do tend to make, oh, this is like the index card, this like shows what is in the box. I tend to make about like 2 or 3 videos, but because I've included so much in the box, I think I might end up making another one, at least one more after this. And in the kit, there are also these 2 luggage tags. So I thought I would decorate one of them today, or maybe both. It all depends on how I'm feeling. So I shall put this into fast forward mode, and I will make sure and have a voiceover so you know what's going on and exactly what I'm doing. And I shall see you at the end of the video. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a few like paper elements. I've grabbed that paper doily, and I was just looking through some of those like die cuts, but I decided I didn't actually want to use any of those. And I haven't used the washi tapes yet, so I brought all 3 of those out, and I was kind of wondering if I should use the gauze, but I didn't in the end. So first I'm putting on a strip of each washi tape in the top left hand corner of the tag, and I'm just kind of layering them up. And I had a feeling I probably wouldn't see them by the time I was finished the video, so that just created more of a texture than anything else. And I'm just going to use that paper doily. I decided to use the bigger piece first, and I thought I might as well just use up most of the paper doily since I did get quite a bit in the kit. So I'm going to stick that down with PVA glue, and I'm just going to layer them up, and you'll see that in a little bit. And I'm using a palette knife. That's my favorite way to stick most things down, using a palette knife and PVA glue. So I'm just going to take the paper doily and stick that down in layers, going from biggest to smallest. And then I was only left with like a really tiny piece. Okay, so before that dries, I'm just going to use my clear chalk primer. Every time you use it, it's always good to give it a good mix, because sometimes like the heavier bits do tend to settle down to the bottom. So once I've given it a mix, I did make a bit of a mess. It spilled out of the bottle a little bit. So just cleaning that up, and then I'm just going to give it a quick layer using a paintbrush. So once that was dry, I'm pulling out some of my paints. And first I wanted to pick out some papers. So my initial plan was to create a paper flower, and then maybe use one of those like minty kind of colored flowers to make a little cluster. So I've cut out, like I've drew a circle around the pot, and now I'm cutting out a spiral. I apologize for being out of frame. I was concentrating. I haven't made one of these paper flowers in a while, so I was concentrating too much and I didn't realize I was out of frame. So basically you cut like a spiral. You can see it looks a bit like a spring, and then you start from the pointiest end and roll it up. And the way I rolled it up, I wanted to be able to see the pattern of the paper when you look down on it, instead of just looking at white. So the white's on the outside. And then you can see it just kind of like rolls up really nicely, and you can kind of have a bit of a rose kind of look depending on how you roll it up. And then you could just stick that together, just putting a bit of like, you want to leave a bit of a circle at the end, like a wide point at the end, so you put glue on that, then you can stick it all together and that should hold. And I grabbed one of these flat back gems and I put that in the middle because that was supposed to be a flower. But you'll see that that changes very soon, because I wasn't too happy with how it was looking, but I kind of thought I might as well just kind of run with it because sometimes I may not like how it looks at the start, but I like it when it looks at the end. So I was just still running with that idea. I cut some leaf shapes out of one of the mini papers, and I was thinking like I would use some of those little rose flowers to maybe create another cluster. So now I'm going to paint the leaves, and I'm going to kind of try to make my own mint color using like a light blue, some white, and I'll add a little bit of like yellow to it. I'm just mixing that off screen, like on a palette. You see that looked a bit too blue because I kind of wanted it to tie in with the roses, the resin roses. So now I'm adding in that yellow. And that kind of matched, so I thought I would leave that like that. And now I'm going to add some paint to the tag. So I'm first going in with some red, and I sprayed the tag a little bit first so it would blend nicely. And that was a lot of red. I find this paint is quite vibrant, so I keep on putting too much on what I'm working with. So I dabbed that off and like around the tag, and I also put on some of the yellow ochre and as well dab that off around the tag. And now I'm putting on some white to kind of lighten that a bit since it's supposed to be the background. And again, I dab that a bit more with my paper towel. And this is when I was starting to think, gosh, this is just looking like a hot mess, but I might as well just continue, see what happens. I'm adding some purple to the flower and some yellow as well, just to kind of grunge it up a little bit and make it not look like just a paper flower anymore. I wanted it to be able to look like mixed media as well. And I'm also going to edge that leaf with some Viridian. Oh, I did put some Viridian in the leaf as well. That's when it was looking a bit too green. Or too blue, sorry. And I'm also adding some yellow, just to add some like depth to the leaves. And I still wasn't feeling this whole flower thing. And then my mom suggested maybe I can make it into a nest. So I stuck down 2 more gems as if it was like a bluebird nest with like blue eggs. And then I traced the shapes of those leaves and the branches from one of the stencils in the kit. And now I'm going to add some more paint to the background. So I'm just dry brushing on some white, medium yellow, the same yellow I use on the leaf. I'm also going to put in some Viridian, and I'll put in some purple as well. I just wanted to be able to make everything cohesive, and so I was just using the same colors I'd used already. And I'm now just using a little bit more white to push that back and just ground it and make it look a little bit more together. And it was quite a light layer because I still wanted some of the red to show through, and I also wanted to be able to see the branch I had traced. And I really wanted to bring in more red. I did want like the focal image to kind of be more red, so I'm painting the branch and the leaves with that red. And I didn't want the branch to look too thin, so I'm just going to fatten up the end a little bit, as if it's coming off of a tree. So you can kind of think that if the picture was bigger, you would be able to see the tree, or the rest of the tree. And this is when I was beginning to think, yeah, I'm liking how this is going. So I'm going to add some highlights using my yellow ochre to the leaves and the branch, and some shades using my purple. So you don't always need like white and black to add highlights and shades. You just need a light color for highlights and a dark color for shades. So whatever colors you have. And I was really liking how that was turning out. And you can see I put a lot of tacky glue in that nest, mostly because I didn't really stick the middle down very well. So I just put a lot of tacky glue when I was putting in those gems just to make sure that everything was stuck. And once it dried, it really was stuck very well. And now I'm just using a little bit more red to blend everything together, and I was happy with how that looked. So now I'm going in with my Viridian, white, red, and I think I'm going with some yellow. Yep. Just to again make the nest look a little bit more mixed media and less like a piece of paper. And I'm trying my best not to cover up the eggs too much because I still do want to keep the shine of the gems kind of to create a bit of a pop. And I've added some white to add some highlights to the leaf and the branch, and a little bit of viridian to add some shading as well. And I'm going to edge the tag with my purple, red, yellow ochre, and some viridian as well. I just keep on reusing the same colors over and over again, so there's no clashes or anything. And I find like edging your tags or like your journal page or anything that you're creating just really helps to ground the whole thing. And I also added like some of the color as well to that little circle around the punched hole. I thought that looked quite nice. And I'll add a little bit of viridian as well and some white. Sometimes I like the circle to stick out and sometimes I don't, but this time I thought it would be nice for it to stick out. Oh, I also edged it with some white as well to brighten it up a little bit. I didn't want the tag to look too dark. Right, so the top of the tag looked empty, so I thought I would use one of Sean's masks to create a bird. Well, Sean Petite. I'm part of her creative team for this year, so I have quite a few of her stencils, and this mask, I've actually used it a lot. And yeah, so I traced that using a pen and I'm filling that in with red. I still really wanted to keep with the whole red thing, especially since the red was really to the back of the background. So that really just helped everything to pop and the red made it pop a lot. And now I'm going to go in with the other colors that I've been using this whole time. So the viridian for like the shadows, yellow for highlights kind of thing. And I also come in with some purple as well. And the bird I did kind of play around with a little bit. I just had to keep on going back and forth, and adding and taking away until I was happy with it. And every now and again, I would come in with some red to just kind of blend the colors together. So now I'm coming in with some purple. I thought I needed to push the viridian back a little bit. I had a little bit too much of that. And I put some of the purple in the middle. But then I wanted more viridian. So you can see it was just a kind of back and forth kind of process until I was happy with how it looked. And I probably should have used a more like fine tip paintbrush, but I was just kind of sticking with this one. I should have pulled out one of my liner brushes, but it turned out fine in the end, so it's all good. So I've come in with some white to kind of blend things together. I felt like I needed to neutralize some of the color, and then I wanted it to be a little bit brighter, but the yellow was too bright, so I'm using the yellow ochre and using that to kind of blend in a little bit. And you can see now it's kind of gotten lost in the background, so I'm coming with more red so that it would stand out a little bit. And now for some white. And this is when I started to think, yeah, I'm happy with the bird. So I'm adding some more white to the nest. I found the nest look a little bit dark too, and that needed to stand out a little bit more. And I've put that to the side, and I'm using some calligraphy ink with my calligraphy pen. This is my favorite way to add detail, and now I'm just going in and adding the detail wherever I need it to be. So on the branch, on the bird, and this is just going to allow everything to pop. And I was just kind of like scraping the calligraphy pen along the nest as well to just give it a little bit more detail. And once I added the detail to the bird, I thought it looked a lot better because now it popped off the page. And now I'm just going to edge the tag as well with some black. I'm going to add my signature and again a little bit more edging with the ink. I like to do that as well so I don't waste the ink. And I also just kind of grunged up the background of the tag and added some black splashes as well. And I still felt the background was a little bit plain, so I'm adding some splashes with the viridian, the yellow ochre, red, and the purple. And I'm not like too worried about splashing on the bird or the nest because I do go in and I dab off some of the color because I didn't want the splashes to take away from the main images, the focal images. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Once I finish my splashes, oh, I also added some white as well, as you can see. Once I finish adding my splashes, I will go in with my Uniball Signo gel pen to add some highlights. And I also added some gold. You know how I love my gold, just to add a little bit of shine. So yeah, so I'm going to go in with my Uniball Signo gel pen, and I shall talk to you at the end of the video. Okay, so I'm all done. I'm really happy with it. I wasn't too sure what I was doing at first, but it all came together. Here's just a quick close-up. Of course, there'll be photos at the end, so if you enjoyed the video, please do give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to click that bell so you can get notified whenever I upload a new video. And please do check out my previous boxes. This box is sold out, but I have a few previous boxes that are all marked down. The original price is $18, but they're all marked down to $12, so please do check that out via the links below. So I think I'll do at least one more video featuring this box, probably doing a bit more printing with the mixed media plate to show you how else you can use that. So thanks again for watching. I hope you join me again for another arty video. Bye!